Gloria Thompson.
Yes, I'm here in my home in Madison Heights, Michigan.
We have quorum.
Next up, public input.
Excuse me, Board President.
Yes, Trustee Scott.
I would like to amend the agenda on 3 items.
What are they?
The first one is to videotape and post to YouTube, Madison District Public School website, and to do a Facebook Live for people who cannot attend. It was voted on at a previous meeting and passed. I'm not sure why we're not doing it currently, and I'm sure no one on the board wants to leave out any seniors or anyone that's immune compromised during this time.
Do you want these separate or together, Pat?
Separate, please.
Okay. We need support.
I'll support.
We have to have a vote to add this to the agenda. Is there any discussion?
This is,
Madam Chair,
Trustee Thompson, go ahead.
Can we find the date on which we voted that? I don't even remember it.
Okay, and if you want to do that, we can have an alternative motion to table or just not support it either way.
Well, do I make the motion now to table it until we get the date? The specifics on what was said?
well, okay, Madam President, it doesn't, it was on the previous meeting, that's how we stopped using our cell phones to record.
But we're not in discussion. So
We're not
right now,
discussing.
we are not in discussion. At this point, an alternative motion has been made. So now do we have support to table?
I'll support.
Is there discussion on the table?
Chair.
Trustee Chambliss.
I understand if Trustee Thompson wants to know which meeting this was voted on. It's always good to go back and refresh on things, but I think it's kind of moot because it is a need that our community has. It's been expressed a lot of times through social media and comments and emails we've received where people feel they don't have access or they have a difficult time. The way we often, record these meetings and then meetings on YouTube disappear. So whether we have or haven't voted on it in the past, I think that it is something our community needs and we should support regardless.
Madam President,
Mr. Holcomb, go ahead.
but if we already voted on it, we don't want to vote on it again and cross something out that was already passed.
Correct.
Trustee
Madam President,
Don't we already videotape these and put them on our website? Yes.
So I don't know, Trustee Scott, if you heard, she said the response was yes.
who is that?
Mrs. Kennedy said yes, they are.
Oh, okay, well, so I don't know if anyone noticed, but they're no longer available. I've tried to look on the website, I've tried a YouTube video, and unless it got put on in the last couple hours, I was not able to access it. And I just want to be clear that I don't know why the Board of Education would not want our citizens to have access to that, especially with having to wear masks at the meeting, people are really compromised. Like, I don't know why we would not want to
Okay.
make sure that those videos are available.
do ahead, had something to add.
When we caught wind of the linkage loss, it was because YouTube changes settings. And so the IT folks had to identify us as people older than 18. Now we have to just reconnect our videos to our website. So it was a YouTube setting change, and because we're a school, YouTube did not know if we were over the age of 18, so they made the videos unavailable. I spoke to Wes Prescott, he's gonna give us, step by step on relinking them. We never took them down, YouTube had it taken down. We record them, we upload them, we put our minutes up, and here we are. We not only are we streaming it right now on YouTube Live, we also record it and post it. So just because there was a YouTube setting where there was a glitch does not mean we're not informing the public.
So Mr. Bill, you're saying that currently you're recording it now and it will be uploaded onto the Madison District Public School website?
We record them, we upload them to YouTube, then we create a hyperlink between YouTube and our website so that people that go to our website could see the YouTube videos.
Okay, does anybody else have a question or concern? Okay, hearing none, Mayor Kennedy, roll call, this is on the table. To table.
So motion to table.
Yes.
Crystal Beaver,
Yes.
Rebecca Chambliss,
No.
Mark Holcomb,
Yes.
Cindy Holder,
Yes.
Deborah Ott,
Yes.
Beth Scott,
No.
Gloria Thompson.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-2.
Okay.
So number two is to make legal bills are currently essential. I want to make them, that the Board of Education can see them and the itemized bills before they're paid out. And what the itemized bills are, because on the website, it's not updated monthly, the last paid transactions listed as 7/1/2020.
Okay, but wait, we're not discussing now. You may,
Okay, so I want
you
to
want to add,
I want the legal bills to come to the Board of Education for payment.
So you want to take them off the essential list?
Yes, correct.
do we have support?
I'll support. This is Crystal.
Okay, now we're ready for discussion.
Madam President,
As a,
Okay, wait, Mr. Holcomb has something.
wasn't it just a meeting or two ago, everybody was upended because we were paying late fees and that because it wasn't essential?
Yes.
Let's just keep it the way it is, if they're essential.
Madam President,
Trustee Scott, go ahead.
so Mr. Cooper can say that the reason why we made them essential is because you're paying late fees. Well, we just recently received itemized bills, attorney fees, which go back to June. So that's a fail right there. However, the attorney bills are astronomical, and I think that the Board of Education should visually see itemized bills each month, because we're doing a disservice to the community without doing so. So I believe, and in my opinion, that they should come to the Board of Education to be approved to be paid.
They are by the check register, they're in the check register every month. So we do see them, but just so, it just sounds like you're saying we don't see them, we actually do, they're there. Okay, is there any other discussion? And we did, just talk about this last month, as a matter of fact, we did get an itemized list, and we
And
didn't
Julie's
have any,
not there.
excuse me, I still have the floor now. We do have an itemized list, we did not have anything from Clark Hill. To the best of my knowledge, Dr. Hill, are we now caught up per se with our legal fees?
I'm not sure that they still need to bring up, we do have communications with all of our pretty regularly, and I'm not sure if they're caught up what they're doing.
Okay, well, what we've received,
What we
we are
Madam
current.
President, can I hear,
Okay, so Dr.
Microphone, please.
Yeah, I'll let her, instead of paraphrasing, I'll let her answer it.
Okay. So in terms of what we received, we paid everything out that we received from Troon and Clark Hill. I am not sure in terms of where they are in terms of billing us. We do have work between us pretty often, and more bills will come as a result of our communications with these two law firms.
The only thing I have to say, I guess, is I do have a concern about getting 2 and 3 months worth of bills, wherever the glitch was, which is why we needed essential. I guess my opinion is let's give this time to see if it works. It's only been a month, and I guess that's where I'm at. Does anybody else have questions or concerns?
Chair, this is Rebecca.
Trustee Chambliss.
We previously had an issue with receiving 2-3 months bills bundled up. And when we kind of scoffed at that, we were told that there was a communication breakdown in the administration building and that it would be resolved, so this would not continue. Since then, we're still seeing 2 and 3 months bundled up. And I know that Clark Hill is a very reputable and oftentimes used legal firm. I find it hard to believe that they are 2-3 months behind in billing. If they are and that's their process, okay, but as far as we were told, it is not their process and that we should not be expecting those going forward. So if we're not going to take them off essentials, then there has to be something at least put in place that we get bills every 30 days or every, regular meeting.
Anybody else?
Madam President,
Trustee Scott, go ahead.
I would be willing to change my amendment to make sure that we get the bills every 30 days if that was possible, but it doesn't seem possible. That's why I wanted to take it off the essential list.
Like,
Madam Chair,
yes, Trustee Thompson.
that might be another motion, and I think we just made them we just put them on the essentials list. Maybe we can make a phone call to these legal departments and say, hey, we need you to send your bills out in a little more in a timely manner. That's a phone call. I'm opposed to taking them off the essentials list. I think they are very important. We need to have their services.
President Holder.
Mr. Abdullahan would like the floor, go ahead.
We just made them essentials 3 weeks ago. Give us time. The reason why I sent you 3 months, when I contacted Troon, I said, hey, go back 3 months. Even though the check registry does not show, I wanted to show the trustees that we have nothing to hide. So I said, go back all the way through the summer and get me all your stuff. That way no one can stand here and say that we're hiding something. So if you look at the check registry is now for 3 months. I requested 3 months back from Troon so you could see all the details of what's going on. Allow us to do our job, allow us more than 3 weeks. And then if we still, then revisit the motion. That's just my opinion.
Madam President,
Trustee Scott.
I would like to table this to the next meeting.
Motion on the floor to table this.
I'll support.
Trustee Thompson is supporting. Any discussion on the table?
Madam President,
Trustee Scott, go ahead.
so I want to be clear, I'm tabling this for the next meeting to make sure that the bill that we see, the next welfare bills, it will be for 30 days, correct?
We can't, Trustee Scott, we can't control when the attorneys are going to send out their bills.
Correct. But we'll come to me, like Gloria can see it.
Wait, Dr. Hill has something to add. I'm sorry. Dr. Hill, go ahead.
I just wanted to reiterate that we just approved this motion 3 weeks ago. We need time for this process to even work and function, so that we can process the bills timely when they come in. They were not on the essential list before, and to give us only 3 weeks for the process to be just excellent and perfect is not enough time. All I'm asking is, can we have enough time for this process to work before we make any changes?
So if we vote yes to table, our next meeting is on the 20th, which doesn't really help. If we vote no to table, then we go back
We'll
to
table it to the meeting.
the original.
November meeting.
We, or it can be withdrawn.
I would like to table it until the November regular meeting.
And to want to support the change.
I'll support. This is Crystal.
Hang on, we need to wait for Trustee Thompson.
Yes.
Did you want to support the change to the November meeting?
I'm not sure that's going to give them enough time.
So you're saying no?
No.
Okay. Now, Trustee Beaver,
I'll support tabling it until November.
okay. Trustee Beaver has supported it to go to the November meeting. Any other discussion? Okay, this is to table until the first meeting in November. Can we have roll call vote, please?
Rebecca Shanlis? Yes. Mark Holcomb?
No,
Cindy Holder?
No.
Deborah Ott?
No.
Beth Scott?
Yes.
Gloria Thompson?
No.
Crystal Beaver?
Yes.
Motion failed.
Motion fails. Okay. So since we're changed it,
When you're ready.
okay. Everyone lose my place. So it's completely failed. We don't have to go back to the original one. I'm so lost, excuse me. Okay, number 3.
For the civic list and ESSER grant list, we added to the board packet, so the Board of Education can see the progress and get them listed as a permanent record in the meeting minutes.
Hang on one second. Mary Kennedy, did you say we have to go back to the original legal bills being essential?
Yes, because the table failed, not the actual original amendment.
That's what I thought, okay. Okay, before we go to the ESSER grants, we have to go back, excuse my missing this. So we have to vote on the legal bills being considered essential or not. And that was, yeah, I'm trying to read my own notes, excuse me.
I want them to be taken off the essential list.
You want them to be removed.
Yes.
and Crystal supported them being removed. Yes, sorry about that. Okay, is there any more discussion on that? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Gloria Thompson?
Legal bills being removed from the essential list.
Gloria Thompson?
No.
Beth Scott?
Yes.
Deborah Ott?
No.
Cindy Holder?
No.
Mark Holcomb?
No,
Rebecca Chambliss?
Yes.
Crystal Beaver?
Yes.
Motion failed.
I apologize for that. Now we're on to the ESSER and grant money. I started to write down.
Yeah.
And you want what with that?
The set list and the ESER grant list be added to the Board of Education packet so that we can see the progress and have them listed as a permanent record for meeting minutes.
Is there support?
I'll support. This is Rebecca.
Okay, discussion. Mrs. App, did you have something you wanted to say?
Mr. Theo, he reports on this month. Jamie, Mr. Theo reports on this every month.
Madam President, I can't hear who's speaking.
Our HR director, Jamie Theo, reports on this every month at our monthly meetings. I don't know why we have to put it in front of the record. It's in the minutes. Yeah, it's in the minutes already.
So, Ms. Scott, I guess I'm a bit confused as well, because we do have the presentation if there's anything to report, and therefore it would go into the permanent meeting minutes. So I'm confused as to what you think you're missing.
Exactly where it's at in the minutes. Because I don't see it. I know that Jamie and Dr. Hill do the report, but I don't see it in the minutes. I don't see any of the updates.
I believe last month
We were told
they didn't have anything.
that there was a list that they were working on from SETSAG, and that Dr. Hill said that it would be no problem for her to come up with a list of all the grant money and what it was spent for. So I was hoping to see those actual lists monthly to see where the grant money and the ESSER fund money was spending on an ongoing basis. That I don't see anywhere in the notes.
Does anybody else have anything to say before I respond?
like Angel just said, last month there was nothing reported on for the minutes. That's why you don't see nothing in last month's minutes.
Chair?
Trustee Chambliss.
I think adding a couple pages to our packets with a list of just what's being done and an updated status. I know we were given one before, right after the tour, and Mr. Theo went through and he explained, I'm contacting Detroit Boiler with this, have these people coming out in August, and so forth. To have a monthly update list in hand that we can, review and reflect on and everything, I think that it just kind of, solidifies all of things going on. Mr. Field does a great job explaining everything he's done or what's happening, but sometimes it's hard to kind of see, like in hand, what's happening. So I know a lot of us were keeping a list and checking things off when they got fixed or putting updates that Mr. Field had given us, shortly after the tour. So I just don't think it hurts anything if some people prefer having a physical list in front of them versus just trying to rapid fire write things down so when they get back to their own list at home that they've been running since early summer. I just don't think that it hurts anything to do that before someone asks you.
Is there anybody else? I will say it's been on our agenda as requested by Ms. Scott for the last few months. Jamie has given us, Mr. Field has given us handouts with all of the updates. It is on our list today. Both both the SETSEG and the ESSER grant updates. And if they have anything to give us, we've been getting our copies. So I think this is redundant and it makes it sound like we're not getting it, when indeed the information is being given to us.
Madam President, I beg your pardon, I have never once received it. Never once. In my
Is she
board
not
meeting,
giving
which
it?
is done, every board meeting.
Trustee Scott, hang on 1 second, let me ask a question. Is she not getting the hard copies that you give to us after the meeting?
That's that second report, big orange. They'll send it to her after the meeting.
Okay. That might have been a glitch because you've been calling in. They did say it's on the website now. But we will make certain that you get a hard copy because we all do.
And the
It is
operations staff have a question.
Okay, hang on. Mr. Abdullah wants to tell you.
On our website, under the operations tab, the SETSEG report is there. But Jamie can send out another one to her after tomorrow morning if she would like.
So Scott, you could be right. You might have not been getting the hard copy we've been receiving because we've been here and we've been calling in. So we will make sure that's fixed. Okay? So any other discussion?
No, so we can take that off the agenda, we can take that amendment off, so I'll withdraw.
And support withdraw?
Yes.
Chambliss is supporting. We will vote to withdraw this potential amended agenda. Mary Kennedy, please roll call vote.
Crystal Weaver,
Yes.
Rebecca Chambliss,
Yes.
Mark Holcomb,
Yes.
Cindy Holder,
Yes.
Beth Scott,
Yes.
Gloria Thompson,
Yes.
Deborah Ott.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next up, public fundamentals. Public input is fundamental to the operation of Madison District Public Schools. Our public has an opportunity to speak at every Board of Education meeting. A period of time known as public comment is set aside at each meeting to give parents and other citizens a chance to speak directly to the board about school-related topics. Anyone who wishes to speak to the board must fill out a request form and give it to the board secretary before the meeting begins. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. School employees will not use this forum to discuss job-related topics. The Board of Education accepts comments made during public comment from anyone who follows these guidelines. Public comment is one of the many information sources that the board uses for making decisions in the best interest of the children who attend Madison District Public Schools. The board also works with the district staff to address citizens' questions and concerns. And with that, I know we had one. Did we only get one card today?
Yeah.
All right.
Mr. Tom Smith?
Can you hear me? I'm Tom Smith. This is my opinion. I wanted to say that I enjoyed watching the productive school board meeting on September the 7th. The board managed the public's business efficiently and disruptions were quickly ended. The September meeting shows what happens when people act civilly towards each other and work together for the public good.
Madam President, I cannot hear the speaker.
Carrying through the room, how's that? Is that any better?
Is that better? Trustee,
No one's talking.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
I can hear.
go ahead.
I'll be a little louder. A comment about legal representation. It's expensive, but it's completely necessary in a contentious environment. If you want to reduce legal fees, finding ways to work together with less conflict saves money. Simply put, civility is a better choice. It's cheaper too. The only winner in many disputes are the lawyers. I've been pleased with the new administration's financial stewardship with a small staff and daily challenges, not to mention the additional complications from COVID-19. Now we're faced with a vote for over $11 million of bond spending for necessary repairs. This board has acted to identify needed to have maintenance and repairs. Struck a few things, that's why I'm hunting on my page a little bit. So I'll be voting for the bonds, and I expect the administration and the board to do their very best. I think we all want what's best for the kids at the end of the day. I think these bonds will help. Thanks for your attention.
Okay. Seeing no more requests, we are moving on to the superintendent report. Mr. Abdulrahman.
Thank you for supporting the bond, Mr. Smith. So I just want to kind of remind folks of our needs in the district. We are in dire need of roofs at Early Childhood Center, at Wilkinson Middle School, and at Madison High School. Despite all our efforts and all sound financial practices that we're doing, we're still falling short. So we're asking our residents to consider our needs. We sent out a flyer was sent out explaining our needs. We also have a bond tab on our website explaining our needs. Again, for purposes of explaining, this is a no-mill increase. 1.8 mils is looking to drop. What we're asking taxpayers is to allow this 1.8 mil to continue without a raise to the taxpayers, and in exchange, the taxpayers will allow us to bond $11.4 million. Again, this is your investment. These buildings are your buildings. We're just asking you to consider our needs. We have a little over 1,000 students that really need to be thought of when we're looking at air quality and HVAC and lighting and technology, and I believe they deserve that. So please be on the lookout for those flyers. If you need questions, there is a website, a Facebook group, but we also have a website that addresses frequently asked questions. I also want to talk about a few things that are coming up. We have parent-teacher conferences are coming up, depending on what building your students go. Will either be this Thursday from Wilkinson. It'll be on October 7th. At Early Childhood Centers, October 13th and the 14th. Madison High School is October 7th. We also have Spirit Week coming up at the high school, October 11th. We also want to remind parents that there's a new law that came out regarding suicide prevention. So if you have a student in grades 6 through 12, on the back of their ID card now, there's a suicide prevention hotline. That is law. So if you do have an ID, if you look at the back, it's there. It's a suicide prevention. So I encourage you to have discussions with your children. I know it's a tough discussion, but we do want to encourage you. And there's literature, and if you need guidance and information, our school counselors are trained. They can give you information. Our social workers are also trained. They can provide you information. Big shout out to Wilkinson Middle School. Their corn roast was amazing. And I heard that teachers won again. The kids said they cheated, but they retained their title, so congratulations there. I believe that's 7-8 years in a row that the teachers have won. I do want to encourage parents, if your children are sick, keep them home. We have seen a spike in parents sending their kids home if they have a cough or sniffle and they're giving them Tylenol. In order for us to ensure that all the protocols are in place, we are asking parents to do their job, which means if your kid is sick, keep them home. If they have some symptoms, keep them home. Don't cover it up with, Motrin or children's Tylenol. We also want to remind parents that attendance is crucial, and we've noticed a lot of tardies in the morning for our high school students, so we do want to encourage parents to get your children to school on time. Several tardies will equate to several absences, which will equate to an E in the class and failing that class. I also want to share good news. I secured a scholarship at the conference that I went to for MASA for $1,000. I spoke to Ms. Perry. Someone recommended that I split the $1,000 and try to do two students. My recommendation to Ms. Perry is typically the top students always get the most scholarships. So I want to hit the student that has a 3.0, that is in music or extracurricular activities, that might not necessarily get all the scholarships that our top, student scholars get. And I know it's not much, but it's a big deal to some students, and I'll be working with Ms. Perry on that. Trunk or treat for Madison Elementary, that's another popular event coming up. So this is new. Students are allowed to wear school-appropriate costumes this year, correct, Ms. Brunzel?
Yes.
Yes, all right. So typically we try to not encourage it, but this year we're trying to encourage and try to bring back some sort of normalcy for students that have gone through this pandemic over the last 18 months. I believe that concludes my report. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Next two action items. Approval of the minutes from September 7th, 2021, regular Board of Education meeting. We need a maker and support, please.
Madam President,
Trustee Scott,
I'm going to have to cancel.
Trustee Thompson. Did we lose them?
See if they want to come up at me or something.
Can you hear us?
Now,
Okay, you went silent for a while, so anything you were saying we couldn't hear.
if you couldn't hear there.
Okay, can you
Hear you guys,
repeat what you were saying?
just so we couldn't hear you, we were gonna text you.
Oh, okay. Well, the first action item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the September 7th, 2021 Board of Education meeting. Trustee Ott makes the motion. Do we have support?
I'll support.
Trustee Thompson supports. Any discussion?
Chair,
Trustee Chambliss, go ahead.
in the minutes that are proposed, 3A says uncompleted motion of August 8th special Board of Education meeting regarding superintendent goals that was not addressed due to early adjournment. What we voted on is to table that item until the next meeting that all 7 of us could be here, and that's tonight. So I was wondering why it wasn't on the agenda.
I didn't hear all of that.
We voted to table,
No, you withdrew it the second time. The first time you came, you withdrew.
I've never withdrawn.
Madam President,
Trustee Scott, go ahead.
recommended that the Board of Education table this item to the next meeting and the entire Board of Education will be present. That's what it says right in the notes. The meeting minutes notes. So the agenda.
So
will be
do you-
amended.
So do you want to make a,
If you want this to be tabled until the special meeting, we can table it till then, but is it gonna be on that agenda?
that was supposed to be a study session, so that would be up to us. Now we're familiar with the process here. If I recall, Mrs. Ott's talking to you guys.
If I recall, the motion passed to amend the agenda. But we never got to the actual motion or vote on the motion.
So then it was on last month's agenda, and then it got, trustee Chambers saying table.
Madam President, it states, I just stated what it says right in the notes.
Got it.
And the votes, it was 5-0 with 2 absent, which would have been Crystal Knight. It was voted on.
So, right.
It
So-
had asked to have this discussion, but then last meeting, we had 2 people missing who have thoughts and feelings on this. So I said that we should table it until all 7 could be here, and then we tabled it.
So the meeting minutes you're saying are not wrong.
I'm saying,
Right now, we're voting on the meeting minutes.
okay, I'm just asking why that topic, which is considered unfinished business, is not on the agenda.
So the agenda would have to be amended.
Right now, we're voting on the minutes of the meeting. So, is there any other discussion?
Chair, it's Crystal. I just want to say that I'm going to be voting no tonight on this just because I was not at the last meeting and I tried to look up the video so that I could kind of go through and confirm. So I just wanted that to be known as to why I was voting no on this tonight.
Anybody else? Gloria, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay. So right now, we're voting on the minutes of the meeting. That's where we're at. Anybody else have something to say? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Crystal Beaver,
No.
Rebecca Chambliss,
Yes.
Mark Holcomb,
Yes.
Cindy Holder,
Yes.
Deborah Ott,
Yes.
Beth Scott,
No.
Gloria Thompson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Madam President,
Trustee Scott, go ahead.
I would like to amend the agenda to follow with 3A from our previous meeting, which is uncompleted portion of August 8th, Special Board of Education meeting regarding superintendent rules that was not addressed due to early adjournment. Which was deliberated 5-2. It passed.
No, she just asked to amend the agenda. Is there support?
Chair, I'll support Mrs. Rebecca.
Okay, discussion.
Madam President,
Trustee Scott, go ahead.
I'm not sure what the legality to this is. Why would we have to vote on unfinished business? But it's clear that it's already been voted why would we ever vote on anything if it passed or failed? It doesn't make sense to me. And do we have legal here with us right now?
He's here, but I don't know if there's a question directly.
Trustee, you made a motion to add to the agenda.
Wait, you asked a question, not an answer.
Trustee Scott, you just made a motion to add it to the agenda, so to be consistent. Yeah.
Mr. Jonathan is coming to the mic.
Trustee Scott, respectfully, you just made a motion to add it to the agenda. That's why we're voting on it. Also, there was a motion to table until all 7 members are present. No one knows whether or not they're going to be present to the moment of this meeting. So that's why it's being voted on right now. Also, and it may not be reflected in the minutes, but there was a request to clarify and actually provide specificity to that August 9th motion, which was not brought forward. That was another issue that was discussed on the record. That was part of the problem in terms of what is actually being voted on. When it was brought up on August 9th, there were a lot of concepts, but there was not a specific action item that was otherwise voted on, which was why Chair had asked for clarification at last meeting, and then there was a request to table it until all 7 members are present. But as to your specific question, you just made a motion to have it voted on, so that's why it's being brought to the board for a vote.
And we still are at a point where there are no specifics.
Chair,
Trustee Jordan.
I'll specify. It's a motion to discuss the superintendent's actions, his performance, his possible failure of meeting goals or being on a baseline heading to meeting his goals, the behaviors in which we've had a lot of eruptions in this room, this community, and things
I
that...
need to stop right there, because
How do you
if it goes on with that, he has a right to go into closed session when you're talking about an employee's performance.
Which is why I left it open, but you wanted specifics.
Stop. You need to stop. You've gone too far. So, we can get specifics in writing, and we can look at this another time. We are not going into closed session today. You can ask, or Mr. Duhat asked to go into closed session. We have 2 people that aren't here. Technically, they're still not present.
We've gone into closed session with Beth on phone call.
No, we're not going into closed session on a phone call. Absolutely not.
We have.
No.
You can say you don't want to now, but you
We
have.
are not.
You can say you don't want to now, but we have.
Did once. We are not. Not for something like this. It's not happening.
Madam President,
Trustee Scott.
for one whole year, we went into closed session by Zoom when we weren't present. So that's not even a valid point.
No, you're not right. That's absolutely not true. What I'm saying is this. We're not going into closed session on something like this without people being physically there. Period. Period.
Can we get legal advice on this, please?
We will ask them for further information. We're not doing it today.
Chair,
Trustee Chambers.
I would absolutely agree with you if it wasn't for the fact you received 3 requests from 3 trustees asking for a special meeting about this topic, and you said we can request it, but you will make the agenda. So you then booked a special meeting, but booked it for rod throwing training, and not what we asked for the special meeting to be.
You cannot direct what a special meeting is for. That's my job.
You alone can do it, or 2 trustees can do it.
No, you can ask for a special meeting. You don't set the agenda, I do.
You can't completely ignore the entire purpose of a special meeting.
Look at
Why
the
would I call a
bylaws.
special meeting if I don't
We are
even know what we're
having
going to talk
a
about?
special meeting on the 20th.
Why would I
We are
request a
calling
special
the
meeting
question.
if I don't
We
even
are
get
calling
to?
the question. Stop. Stop. That's right, point of order. We're voting. This is to discuss any further this 3A uncompleted agenda business. Roll call vote, please.
I have a question.
The motion is to amend the agenda to include the follow-up of 3A from the previous meeting that was tabled.
The roll call vote, Beth, is to amend the agenda for the 3A uncompleted agenda items. That's what we're voting on.
Mark Holcomb,
No.
Cindy Holder,
No.
Rebecca Chambliss,
Yes.
Deborah Ott,
No.
Crystal Beaver,
Yes.
Beth Scott,
Yes.
Gloria Thompson.
No.
Motion fails.
All right. Approval of the Inspired Science Curriculum. Mr. Duahan, did you want to talk about this?
Thank you, Madam President. This is a 6-year licensing for Wilkinson Middle School for grades 6 through 8, along with the kids, lab kits, consumables, and textbooks. If you look at the breakdown, that's pretty cheap for 1 year, so it's $23,000 and some change. They're allowing us to switch licenses as one grade increases and another decrease. We can switch licenses from 6th grade to 8th grade, which is really nice. So we are recommending that the board approve this curriculum.
Okay, we need a maker and support, please.
Madam President, I'll make the motion.
Madam President, I'll second.
Trustee Ott and Trustee Holcomb made the motion in support. Any discussion?
Chair, I have a few questions. This is Crystal.
Go ahead, Trustee Beaver.
Mr. Abdullahan, I know you had just said that the curriculum includes the books in the lab. Is that what the bundle would be considered? I'm sorry, the books in the lab for the bundles? Is that the only information that we have? Because on June 22nd, when we approved the math curriculum, we received 92 pages. And today all we have was the 2-page invoice on this.
Because we already have licensing with them in the math curriculum, I believe we had to go out for bid. And this falls below the threshold of $24,500. We have a partnership with that company already. So the offer the invoice that they quoted us shows all the breakdown, the licensing, the kids, the consumables.
Yeah, it's a bundle. It just didn't say what was included.
It comes with the kits and everything. I could try to get more breakdown of what the kits include if you want that.
No, if you're saying it includes the signing kits, that's fine. It just wasn't clear with the bundle. The other question I have is, it states that we're ordering 203 bundles. In our board updates, it says that we have 195 in-person students with 11 virtual students. If, let's say, in January, those 8 students return, we're then going to be 3 short. So is this just classroom set and not a 1-to-1 ratio for our kids? Could you clarify?
No, the licensing is for each kid. So what we're doing is because Wilkinson is 1-to-1 on devices, once they get their licensing, they could log in on their computers. So we're just preparing, should we have the need to go remote, then every kid has all their consumables, everything's on there, every license is unique. Kevin did tell me that I could purchase more licenses. It's $128 per kid if I need more.
Okay. That was my question, just because we had the 195 students with 11 virtual, we would be 3 short if the virtual kids decide to come back. So you can order more if needed?
We could order, yep.
Okay, and then just the last question, just because, or I guess I have 2 more. I know with the elementary school, we had started with ELA and then went on to math. Is there a reason, just because I don't know what's going on here, why we went with science before math or ELA here? Is the science kind of the bigger
We like big ideas math. Remember a few years ago, we did big ideas. We still like big ideas math, so that's in place already. Science, after discussing with the teachers, and over the last 18 months with COVID, there's a lot of missing books. So some classroom sets are 22 and they needed 30. And it still did not include licensing. So this completes licensing. ELA, they're using Google Classroom, but we still have textbook and social studies and science. Science was, they were short. So instead of trying to put a Band-Aid on it, we just went with the new curriculum, the new science integrated curriculum that they were offering. It's like a refresh.
And then, you had just touched on it now, but on September 12th, you had emailed me and said that some of the books had disappeared under the old administration from them not turning it in or accounting for it. Do we have something in place this year to ensure that these get turned back in?
Well, we have the licenses, and now that we have Mr. Whitman here, they know that we're supposed to be charging for a lost textbook. I don't know what happened, but now that I'm aware of what transpired before, I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen again. I've talked to the administrators about ensuring that as technology goes out, it gets returned. Some technology didn't come back because of COVID, because some kids didn't come back. So we're trying to come up with a system.
Okay, that's all I have, thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please, Mrs. Kennedy.
Deborah Ott,
Yes.
Beth Scott,
No.
Gloria Thompson,
Yes.
Crystal Weaver,
Yes.
Rebecca Chambliss,
Yes.
Mark Holcomb,
Yes.
Cindy Holder.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next up, seeking approval of curriculum coordinator director. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the curriculum coordinator director position. Mr. Duhan, I'm sure you wanted to speak to this, or Mr. Thiel, whoever wants to take it. Mr. Duhan's the one elected.
So we have some additional resources with COVID, and knowing that there is a huge learning loss gap over the last 18 months, we want to have someone that's specifically targeting, reviewing curriculum, reviewing the data, see where the kids and where the learning loss exists. Because 18 months of remote learning and the gaps that exist with lower socioeconomic disadvantaged students just kind of widens over remote learning. And so us bringing in someone on board who, even though we have several of us that are very fluent with curriculum and instruction, we need someone whose sole job is to do that 100% of the time. That way, it frees us up to do, we're spread pretty thin at this point.
Okay. We have a maker and support.
Madam President, I'll make the
Trustee Holcomb made the motion. Support. Trustee Ott made the support. Is there any other discussion?
Madam President,
Trustee Scott, go ahead.
so my question would be, we want to approve a curriculum coordinator director position without including a job description in the board packet.
I'm just getting information I'm getting approval from you, and then we'll write the job description. There's no reason to write a job description if we don't have approval from you for the creation of this position.
This is,
Madam President,
go ahead, Trustee Scott.
any other time we look at contracts or anything, there's always been a job description. I wouldn't be here. It's like blindly approving something before knowing exactly what the person's going to do. And my second question is, so we have extra money for COVID. Can we continue this going further year after year? And I feel we're already top heavy with low student count, isn't there something that the team, like Mr. Wilhelm himself said, that there are people we have now that could already do this, maybe they could job share this. We have 3 rooms that need to be replaced. If the bond doesn't pass for some reason, we're gonna be spending close to $200,000 a year for, well, this position and the other one, when I feel we have admin staff that should be able to do this. And honestly, it's posted for a Spanish teacher at Wilkinson, and Madison High School still doesn't have a special ed teacher. Like, I don't know why we wouldn't be focusing on those things, in my opinion.
Madam President,
Mr. Abdullah.
whether the bond passes or fails, Ms. Scott, the kids deserve an education and they deserve to close that learning gap. Whether the bond fails or passes, the kids are still deserving of curriculum and for bridging learning gaps. So the bond has nothing to do with educating our kids, it's to support infrastructure. And we are not top-heavy. The teaching positions are there. Now we're asking for support so we could bridge the gap that exists. Some of you have shared some concerns regarding the data that I gave you with MSTEP and NWEA. It doesn't fix itself if we don't invest money in those resources so we could fix the data that you shared concerns over when I gave you the student growth data. So I'm not sure, our admin's already spread too thin. So I cannot put more on them at this time. Just alone with contact tracing is eating up 90% of their time. Just contact tracing alone. Now they have to be instructional leaders, coach their leadership teams, and expect them to be curriculum directors. I can't make that recommendation.
Mr. Could you please say that again? Did you say that those positions, Spanish teacher at Wilson Middle School and the special education teacher has been secured at Madison High School?
No, I didn't even address that, Ms. Scott. I didn't say anything about the Spanish or the special ed position.
About the teacher's position.
I said they're posted. I didn't address that. They're posted. We're interviewing.
Positions, I realize that, but they're not filled, correct?
We're trying, but just like everyone else, there's a shortage in education. I'm not sure if you are aware of that or not.
I am aware of other school districts, yes, thank you.
Anybody else?
Maria Thompson.
Go ahead, trustee Thompson.
I just want to clarify here, what is the objection? Is it to the wording? I know it would be simple for us to look to see, years ago, we had a curriculum director. We always had one. I, for one, was shocked when I got familiar with the school district after being so many years, that we didn't have one again for the district. Is it that you don't like the fact that he's asking us to approve the position? Or, I don't understand. What is it that we're disagreeing with here?
Trustee Scott, did you have a reply?
I know, I said what I said.
Okay, no, that's fine. I'm just, before I opened it to someone else, I wanted to make sure you were good.
I said what I said.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have something to add?
Chair,
Trustee Chandler.
Mr. Abdullah, you said that because of the additional money related to COVID, we could use this money because of learning loss. But what happens when this COVID money runs out? We've been really blessed this year that through a really difficult time, we've received a lot of money from the state, and it's money that we won't get normally. So when that money is gone, what happens to the potentially $95,000?
So first of all, we've not received the money from Esther's. We've not. It's good fiscal practice that it got us to this point. Dr. Hill, our team got us to that point. COVID money has yet to hit some ESSER's money. But I would be remiss to stand here and not give credit to Dr. Hill and our team for good, sound fiscal practice. So when we're presenting something, we've researched it. ESSER's money goes out 3 years. But the first discussion that I had with Dr. Hill is, after 3 years, could I continue to afford this position? And we've had those discussions. The threshold on the salary wage is the lowest in Oakland County. I surveyed all the other Oakland County school districts on positions and salary, and it would be one of the lowest. So we have been lucky, but we're also smart about how we're spending money. So now there's a big gap that exists with education and our kids. And so we have to address it.
Does anybody else have
Madam
any?
President,
Trustee Scott, go ahead.
can Mr. Dubai repeat what he said about addressing or look at all the other county for whatever he said about making sure, or instead of your lowest, you're offering it the lowest cost, whatever he just said to trustee Chambers. Can you repeat
I
that?
don't remember exactly what I
Even he would have to paraphrase. He doesn't know exactly what he said when he was answering. But he did do the research and that it would still be a position that would be one of the lowest in Oakland County. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Or
So he's saying that he looked at all the other school districts and ours is one of the lowest.
No, excuse me. What he was saying is the salary ranges that he offered would be one of the lowest in Oakland County. If this is something that we wanted to do and we wanted to stay within these parameters, understand it would still be one of the lowest paid positions when we put it out there. No, this hasn't been posted or anything yet.
Okay, Mr. Dillon, can you tell me what school districts you looked at? Because when I looked at quite a few myself, I'm just wondering which ones you looked at.
I'll send you the information.
Okay, he's gonna send it to you.
I sent out a survey or a questionnaire to my colleagues in Oakland County. I asked them for both postings, their criteria, how much their salary range, and all of that.
So you're gonna send me an email?
No, actually, you could send me what you have if you have concern. Right now, I'm just asking for permission. I don't understand.
I know which ones I looked at, I'm just wondering which ones.
Which one did you look at, Ms. Scott? Which district did you look at in Oakland County?
I looked at Royal, I looked at Hazel Park, I looked at Troy's, and I looked at Warren's in Macomb County, and I looked at,
And all of those are below 75,000?
pardon me?
And all those that you looked at are below 75,000 salary?
Yeah, ours is, this is one of the highest.
That is actually, that's not true.
I just want to give you
Okay.
that you looked at.
All right, he can give you what he has, you can send him what you want there. Because I don't want to continue on with this.
Sure.
We're just doing circles. Trustee Chambliss, go ahead.
This is Ms. Beaver.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Trustee Beaver, go ahead.
I'm just want to put this out on the record that I'm voting no on this tonight because I had emailed ahead of time several questions regarding my concerns with this. And I was responded with a text message that said that he went to respond with that it was pointless. So since I don't have that information I requested, I don't have enough information to vote on this tonight.
I have a question. If we are looking at our admin building. I have a concern, and this is not new news for anybody that doesn't know me. We don't have a lot of bodies in our admin building. They have been sharing the load for a long, long time. I do think this is important to at least look at, see what is out there, what might be available. I also have a concern, and Mr. Abdullah, I don't know how this would change, but I know, God forbid you get COVID, or you're out. We need, some sort of additional administrator to help take over when you're not out, or when you are out. I know Dr. Hill did a great job while you were gone. She's in the middle of an audit. Because we don't have a lot of bodies at the admin building, is there something we could look at to make this a place for staff and people to go to if you're not available? I don't know what that would look like. I'm wondering if you could maybe look into it and get back to us and say if it even is possible.
Like a central office,
Madam President,
Yes, go ahead,
I
Trustee Scott.
can't hear someone else talking, so I apologize if I interrupted.
Okay, go ahead.
That was going to be my next thing. The next two items, I myself was going to ask to table because maybe it's time that we look at a assistant superintendent.
Okay, so maybe we can look at that and see if there's any way our curriculum, Beth, we know we need to address that. The kids deserve that, so maybe we could have them look at what a combined position might be. Would that be something that we might all agree on?
I would totally agree on that. Are we talking about tabling it and looking at combining one position?
I could do that. If you want to make that motion, we could
Madam
probably
President.
get support.
Madam President,
Go ahead.
I would like to make a motion to table the curriculum coordinator director and, I don't know if I can do this, the PR communication media website coordinator director to possibly look into a position that can combine that possibly into an assistant superintendent position all in one. I would like.
Could we do them separately? Because,
Yes, absolutely.
right, so the first thing is, you are making the motion to table the curriculum coordinator / director position.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
do we have support?
Chair, I'll support. This is Crystal.
Thank you. Trustee Beaver. Any discussion?
Madam President, how long are we going to postpone this?
I think we could ask Mr. Abdullah what would be,
It'll be the November board meeting.
Mr. Abdullah said he can have information for us at the November board meeting. Trustee Scott, Trustee Thompson, can you hear?
Yes.
Is this something that we're in dire need right away, or can it wait that long?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
I don't think we should wait, but whatever your wish is, that's what will happen.
Can we do one of them and then not the other?
You're asking me?
Right now, we're looking at one, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can give you a suggestion. Approve the curriculum director with a possibility of, reviewing and adding assistant superintendent. So at least I have something to bring back to you in November. If you approve that, and at least I can post it. Not post it, I can write the job description, do all of that, that way I don't come empty-handed in November. And then you approve that, then I'll already be ahead. If you wait, then that's just 30 days back. So you could just approve that with the addition of assistant superintendent. And that curriculum director.
Yes, trustee Scott.
So, again, I feel like the Board of Education is left voting on something that we don't have complete information on. We don't have a job description, we don't know what this person's gonna be doing, or the next person's gonna be doing. Again, I feel like the Board of Education is being left out of the loop, and I think that the Board of Education needs to do what the Board of Education needs to do for the good of the community and finances. I think it's up to us, and I think that looking into an assistant superintendent would be our best option financially, because we would be doing a couple of things. If something were to happen and we would need someone to take over, it would be the assistant superintendent, and they could have these job duties of this one and the next position. It would only make a sound financial decision, I believe, in my opinion.
Okay, you're done. Can I just say, curriculum director, you do need to have, additional education for, do you not?
Yeah.
You have to have, so it's not like, I mean, our staff, we're asking a lot of them now, that we really are. And I don't know that we can financially support just an assistant superintendent, but if we give him the green light to look at somebody that maybe could help us in both areas, I don't even know if that person exists, but maybe there is.
Okay, but again, I think that we're blindly approving one. Mr. Dillon is letting us blindly approve something we don't even know what the job description would be. So that's like me walking into a job position, accepting the job and not knowing what my position is going to be or what I'm going to be doing. Why would we vote on this? This doesn't even make any sense why we vote on this.
He's gonna do the research that we would have to take the salary off, because obviously if we were looking at the assistant superintendent and the curriculum director, it probably would be a little different in money. But,
Exactly, that's why I think we should table the next two items and look for one position. And it's not like we could not add this on our special board meeting on October 18th. A 15-minute, like we've done before, a 15-minute vote with.
nothing's 15 minutes for us, but I don't need to make light of it. I'm not.
If you're given the information prior to a board meeting with the job descriptions, it's a simple vote. That's all it is. But right now, I feel like we're we can't continue to blindly vote on stuff and not have the full information. And I know there's 3 board members that do not get all their questions answered. And Madam President, you're well aware of this. Like, and this is why our meetings are so long. I feel like I'm blindly being asked to vote for things that clearly Mr. Gillette wants us to approve for a curriculum coordinator director with no job description. I don't know why this makes sense to anybody, and just, am I thinking one that thinks that that's wrong? There's no job description here.
Hang on, trustee would like to say something.
All Superintendent Buellheim is doing is seeking your approval to look for this
Madam
person.
President, I cannot hear.
We're not voting on a curriculum coordinator right now. That's why there's no job description. All he's wanting us to do is approve his ability to seek a curriculum coordinator with possible superintendent duties if we add that into the motion. That's all. That's why there's no description.
Madam President, right now, it says it is recommended that the Board of Education approves the curriculum coordinator director position. That's what it says. That's what it says.
Chair?
On this one and the next item,
Right,
they're both positions.
I understand. Hang on, please. Go ahead, trustee Thompson, and then trustee Chambliss is next. Go ahead.
If we change the wording on the bottom, curriculum director slash assistant superintendent position in lieu of contract or whatever, I'm not a legal people, would that satisfy everybody? Right now, we're just voting to table it, right?
Yes, we're voting to table it, but again, I can withdraw to table it if we are going to change the wording. But I don't want to vote around something that we have no job description, and I don't know how anybody else can vote on it. There's no job description.
Well, curriculum and curriculum director are pretty clear cut. Their jobs are very specific.
Chair?
I'm sorry.
You're okay.
Trustee Chambliss, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I think if we table this, it gives Mr. Abdullah time to make a job description so that we know if we approve it, we know exactly what we're getting for what price tag. And I think that approving a job title without having a job description, it makes no sense. I mean, I understand that it takes time to draw it up, and so if it's not approved, it's, a waste of that, hour or so. But at the same time, it's a big salary, it's a big chunk, and it's a big position that, yes, I strongly believe we do need one, but for a district that's hovering just, south of 1,000 kids, and who just recently got his training wheels off and is doing okay and is doing strong, I think that it might not be the perfect measure for right now, but having a job description and seeing what all might be entailed that I might not even know about, because I did actually Google a lot of this. I did a bunch of research on it. And the jobs varied. I saw job descriptions that were tiny and I couldn't believe it, and then I saw ones that I couldn't believe one person did all that. So it's a huge range of what we could be getting. So if we had a job description either at the next October meeting or at the first November one, it would just simply be the next meeting. It wouldn't be we approve it next time and then he does the job description, putting him further behind. He just comes to the next meeting prepared with it.
Anybody else? Okay, so the first vote is to table the curriculum coordinator / director. So that's our first vote. Go ahead, Mary Kennedy.
Question, are we tabling this to the November or October meeting? Because originally it was for November.
Madam President, I cannot hear.
Yeah, are you tabling it till November or the October 20th?
What would be best for Mr. Abdullah? October or November?
November.
We can table it till November.
And support was trustee Beaver. Do you support?
Yes, ma'am.
She said yes. So thank you. Ms. Kennedy, it will be tabled to the November meeting.
Yes, it's to the November meeting.
This is gonna add the assistant superintendent on too.
That's not the name.
Right now, the motion is to table the whole.
Right.
Okay. Crystal Weaver,
Yes.
Rebecca Chambliss,
Yes.
Mark Holcomb,
No,
Cindy Holder,
No.
Deborah Ott,
No.
Beth Scott,
Yes.
Gloria Thompson.
No.
Motion failed.
Now we're back to the curriculum coordinator / director.
can you make an amendment now, or
You can't.
so let's add the assistant superintendent?
So Mr. Holcomb is making the motion to accept the curriculums coordinator / director and add assistant superintendent.
Can you move that salary range then?
Yes, the salary range will be removed and he can bring what he finds back.
So assistant superintendent who oversees curriculum instruction underneath
Yes.
that department.
Now that we can have in November?
No, you could amend it now, and then in November, I actually.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
okay. So trustee Scott and trustee Thompson, did you hear what trustee Holcomb said?
Are we in discussion of this yet?
We know we need support.
Madam Chair, we're going to keep curriculum director and assistant superintendent. We're going to take the job remote off and have it changed. We know that.
Correct. So, trustee Ott supported it, so now we are in discussion. And is there anything else that you would like? Trustee Scott, go ahead.
Okay, so once again, we're going to vote on the position without a job description.
Well, I don't think it's as opaque as you feel it is. I would like to see what's out
But
there.
you understand why I feel that way, because I don't get questions answered all the time. And so, will we have the job description before we vote on this next month?
Yep.
That's my question. Okay.
Yeah.
So this so I want to make it clear to Mr. Gilman that the job description will be attached to the curriculum coordinator / director / assistant superintendent. He will attach the job description before we vote on it in the next meeting.
Yes, yes, but he said the verbiage will be.
Excuse me, this is what we had changed it to. It's recommended the Board of Education approve the position of Assistant Superintendent in charge of curriculum and salary.
With curriculum coordinator.
Yes.
Yes, no, in charge of curriculum instruction and salary removed.
Yes. The assistant superintendent would come first with the duties of curriculum and curriculum director.
It's for curriculum and
Thank you.
instruction. Assistant superintendent would not be.
Got it. Okay. So we're all clear?
Yes.
Anything else? Hearing nothing?
Chair, I just have a quick question.
Yes, go ahead.
Do we,
And president is my official title, it's not chair.
oh, I'm sorry, Robert's Rule of Order said I could call you chair.
I would appreciate if you would come elected title.
The assistant superintendent, and then also a curriculum coordinator or director, from what I was reading today, are two of like the hardest jobs and like time demanding and things like that. Are we sure that combining those two large titles together would be fair to ask of someone? Like, is it a reasonable position to kind of melt the two of them? Or are we just kind of hoping that it's possible?
That's normal practice to have an assistant superintendent of curriculum and instruction, absolutely. And the rest of us are probably doing more. So I think they could do it.
Okay, that's fine, I just didn't want to overwhelm someone.
All of us are overwhelmed here, so.
We're trying to help everyone, including obviously the parents. Okay, so are we ready to vote? Yes, okay. Mary Kennedy, go ahead.
Crystal Beaver,
No.
Rebecca Chambliss,
No.
Mark Holcomb,
Yes.
Cindy Holder,
Yes.
Deborah Ott,
Yes.
Beth Scott,
Yes.
Gloria Thompson.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-2.
Next up, approval of a PR, communication, media, web management coordinator, director, with a given salary range. It's recommended the Board of Education approve this position. I need a maker and support, please. Trustee Ott makes the motion. Do we have support?
I'll support Madam President.
Trustee Thompson is support. Discussion.
Madam President.
Trustee Scott, go ahead.
Again, I come back to this Board of Education, where once again being asked to approve of a position that does not have a job description. We're blindly approving a position without a job description. And I thought Mr. Field was handling the web management, the media, communications, so is he no longer doing that? Again, I feel like I'm coming into this blindly. Like, I can't approve this without a job description, I just can't do it.
And I was going to turn it over to Mr. Abdul-Ahad. So maybe you can give us some background on this, Mr. Abdul-Ahad.
Yeah, so our website has not been,
Madam President, I cannot hear Mr. Abdul-Ahad.
we need a refresh on our website, social media, someone who's more versed than we are. Mr. Thiel has given me 30 days notice that he no longer desires to handle the website in the social media. We also need, given light of what you witness day in and day out with social media, and we really need someone who directly is aware of that and is a lot more prepared and knowledgeable in website management than we are. We also need a refresh on our website. It's been 8 years, 9 years, it's been the same. So we're looking to do all of that.
Any other questions or statements? Hearing none. Mary Kennedy, roll call vote, please.
Rebecca Chambliss? No. Mark Holcomb?
Yes.
Deborah Ott?
Yes.
Gloria Thompson?
Yes.
Beth Scott?
No,
Cindy Holder?
Yes.
Crystal Weaver?
No.
Motion passes.
Next up is, the administration is recommending the designation of the proceeds of the Edison sale to be set aside for infrastructure spending only. I know we've talked about this. Do we want to make this a motion and have it in the books? I know, like I said, it's been discussed.
I'll make the motion. This is Crystal.
Trustee Bieber,
Madam President, I'll support.
trustee Ott supports. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Gloria Thompson?
Yes.
Beth Scott?
yes,
Deborah Ott?
Yes.
Cindy Holder?
Yes.
Mark Holcomb?
Yes.
Rebecca Chambliss?
Yes.
Crystal Weaver?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. Next up, personnel report. Mr. Field, you're up, sir.
Okay, good evening. I'll announce the new hires. Keegan Collins, second grade teacher at Madison Elementary. Kathleen Teeples, lead preschool teacher at ECC.
Madam President, I cannot hear.
He's actually speaking pretty loudly. Okay, try again, please.
All right, Keegan Collins, second grade teacher at MES. Catherine Teeples, lead preschool teacher at ECC. Michelle Hoopterp, kindergarten teacher at ECC. Isaac Johnson, art teacher at MES. Hunter Dayani, kindergarten teacher at ECC. Lisa Pinter, accounting specialist at the central office. Chantel Morris, paraprofessional and cheer coach at MES and cheer coach at MHS. Tiara Jackson, assistant girls basketball coach at MHS. Kimberly Ramsey, bus driver. Heather Kazmika, GSRP associate teacher at ECC. And there were 2 resignations, Tamika Hicks, bus driver, and Reem Bakayu, bus driver. And 1 retirement, Valinda Breck, secretary at Madison High School.
Okay, we need a maker and support, please.
Madam President, I'll be the maker.
Trustee Holcomb, maker.
Work.
Trustee Thompson, thank you. Is support. Anybody have any questions? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Deborah Ott,
Yes.
Cindy Holder,
Yes.
Mark Holcomb,
Yes.
Rebecca Chambliss,
Yes.
Crystal Beaver,
Yes.
Gloria Thompson,
Yes.
Beth Scott,
Yes.
motion passes.
Next, approval of individual contracts. Shall I read them, or did you want to do that, Mr. Field?
So the individual contracts were just for the non-union positions. So it was Lisa Pinter, the accounting specialist.
Oh, so we've already taken
Yeah.
care of competition.
Yeah.
Got it, okay. Since it was a separate line item, I assumed you needed more from us. Next up, approval of the Dystonians and Cafeteria workers contract. AFSCME Local 1468. This is for 21-22, 22-23, 23-24 school years. We need a maker and support, please.
Madam President, I'll be the maker.
Mr. Holcomb is the maker.
Madam President, this is Mrs. Thompson of support.
Okay, Mrs. Thompson supports. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Rebecca Chambliss,
Yes.
Mark Holcomb,
Yes.
Cindy Holder,
Yes.
Deborah Ott,
Yes.
Beth Scott,
Yes.
Gloria Thompson,
Yes.
Crystal Beaver,
Yes.
motion passes.
Excuse me.
Trustee,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
On our action sheet, it says that they're recommending us to approve the individual contracts as presented. Do we not need to vote on that because we left the HR?
Thank you. I thought I had asked that question. I misunderstood because it is an action item. So I thought we had already encompassed it. I apologize. We do need those 3 employees to be approved as individual employee contracts. So we need a maker and support.
This is Crystal. I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Trustee Beaver.
Madam President, I'll second.
Mr. Holcomb is support. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Gloria Thompson,
Yes.
Beth Scott,
Yes.
Deborah Ott,
Yes.
Cindy Holder,
Yes.
Mark Holcomb,
Yes.
Rebecca Chambliss,
Yes.
Crystal Beaver,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay, facilities, set list update.
Right. So we've been working on a lot of what was on the set side list, being short-staffed with custodians, and taking care of what we can.
Madam President,
So-
it's not here.
Some of the larger projects we've been kind of putting off, like removing the cement from the old light posts. I just want to thank the custodians and grounds crew for all their hard work in addressing all the issues that they have addressed so far. One of the things pointed out in the set site report was some of the fire issues. Conti did address all of that. They will be on site next week bringing the fire exits and emergency lights up to code. A lot of them failed testing during the inspection. The boilers have been inspected by Detroit Boiler and the state. We had to make some repairs as required by the state inspector, and we're waiting on the certificates to be mailed to us. And CE Door and Hardware will be on site this month installing door access controllers and ID badge cards at the main entrances of all the school buildings, as well as the admin office. The system will allow the secretaries to buzz in anyone at the entrance door. There's a video camera and screen so they can see who's there. There'll be an ID badge printer in my office, so when I onboard people, everyone's issued an ID badge with their picture on it, and then they can get access to their specific building. So that's pretty much it for right now.
Thank you. Okay, check register approval is up next. It's recommended the Board of Education approve the monthly expenditures totaling $853,258.58. I need a maker and support, please.
Madam President, Mrs. Thompson, I'll recommend.
Okay, and Ms. Trustee Ott is going to be support. Any questions?
I just have one question. This is Crystal.
Beaver, go ahead.
Can anybody clarify what the Seacrest Wordle is? I know I had requested the invoice and I received it. I just don't remember the Seacrest. Yes, sir.
Seacrest Wardle?
WARDLE. The invoice just made me more confused by what it actually was.
She's going to look it up right now, so if you continue with your question.
That was my only question. I just wasn't sure if that was.
I think it's the law firm, but we don't know if we're trying to make sure it's garnishments or something else. We'll check. Ms. Beaver, what page was that on?
It's on page 6. It was only for 81 was our portion, but there was like a 30, I don't want to say the number because I don't remember it offhand.
We'll get back to this.
Yes, no worries, thank you.
Did you want to wait for an explanation before we vote? That's not inappropriate.
Yeah, I would rather, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Can we maybe take a 5-minute recess while they're looking that up?
Absolutely. 5-minute break.
Madam President, you said we're taking a 5-minute break.
5-minute break.
All right, can I do myself?
Yes, please.
All right, Mary, I just want to make sure Mary's aware of the budget.
Yeah, she's trying to help find that thing for Crystal. But we'll remember.
She was looking for Seacrest Wordle.
Yes.
What did she want to know?
I think she wanted to know what it was. She asked for the invoice, but she said it made her more confused.
Fees for professional services, expenses in advance. There is, I didn't get any kind of description. Just as it was.
Yeah, Dr. Hill's looking it up now.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness, that really is coming so late.
I can tell you, Madam President,
Yes.
that it's versus the state of Michigan, third page.
Versus the state of Michigan.
There and Al versus individual.
Multiple lawsuits. There are multiple school districts,
Get ready for tomorrow. We appreciate you guys' Mark, they gotta be up like super early tomorrow. Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Good night.
Hi, how are you? Oh.
Okay, are we almost ready? No, everybody's got to be ready.
Yeah, that's our 5 minutes. It's that. I'm at.
Okay, so we did find out what that was.
That's okay. I'm okay with still passing it as long as if tomorrow, it's only the $81. It just showed a quite large other balance, so I didn't know if we still owe on that or if it's our portion. So if you could just clarify that tomorrow by email, I'm totally fine with that.
Yes, I will. It's a lawsuit, and it's several districts against the state of Michigan. And I'll let you know the reason. I believe it's a benefit suit. But I'll let you know the reason. No, we don't owe that whole thing. $81 is our portion.
Okay, and is that like a continuous every month payment or is it just those ones?
No, it's not a monthly payment.
Okay. All right, thank you.
But I'll definitely, give you more details tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, so any other questions or concerns on the check register?
Yes, I just have one. This is Rebecca.
Trustee Chambliss, go ahead.
Mr. Doolahad, on the Verizon Wireless bills that we saw, there were district phones that still had current charges. Are those labeled wrong or?
Yeah, I saw that when you requested it. I just have to take time to reassign. So Sandy's old phone is assigned to Jamie. I just have to go in and just do a name change. I saw that when you requested it, and I just haven't had time.
No problem. I was just wondering. Thank you.
And something else, please has to be addressed. The other thing is, I know when at my old job, it was like $75 to change the name or something. So there may be a fee associated. I know we didn't always do it because of
It's free. I just have to,
Got it.
log in. I just haven't had time.
Okay.
Maybe it would be a duty for the assistant superintendent. I'll put that in.
Okay.
That was a joke.
Okay, check register. We are doing a roll call vote, please. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Roll call vote, check register approved.
Crystal Beaver,
Yes.
Rebecca Chambliss,
Yes.
Mark Holcomb,
Yes.
Cindy Holder,
Yes.
Deborah Ott,
Yes.
Beth Scott,
No,
Gloria Thompson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, Dr. Hill, ESSER and grant updates.
Okay, I didn't have an update for you for this meeting, but I will make sure that Trustee Scott gets her grant copy that was issued before. I'll have a report for you next meeting.
Thank you. So nothing there. Moving on to committee reports, GRC. Go ahead, Trustee Chambliss.
Our meeting is actually Wednesday, October 6th at 6:30.
Okay. Next up, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee.
At our most recent meeting, we actually discussed the functions of a DEI coordinator and the roles they play in districts and ways that board trustees can help support that role and its functions within the district. It was really useful. There's actually a slide show that if anybody wants, just let me know and I can forward it to you. That's it.
Parks and Rec.
Madam President, it's Mrs. Thompson. I don't have anything to report. I go to the next meeting. I've got some health issues, so I missed the last meeting.
Okay. Next up is engagement of council, and I believe that Mr. Martone might have something for us.
Good evening. This relates to confirming the scope of the Allen Law Group's engagement as legal counsel. They are already performing an investigation. Yeah, I'll talk a little louder. This request relates to the confirmation of the scope of the engagement of the Allen Law Group. They're already involved in providing investigative services with respect to the Title IX investigation. And it is recommended that since they're already involved, that they also participate in assisting in a review of a complaint against a school district employee so that they finish that investigation as well.
Hearing no concerns, we will move on. Al, Mr. Holcomb, you're up.
We met with Chief Haynes, and he's going to reach out to Oakland County Sheriffs, because I guess they have a PAL program, and he's going to try to piggyback off of them. So it worked out better that way. But I haven't heard back from them yet. When I do, so will you.
Okay, next up. Good.
Madam President, can I speak up upon that?
Sure, go ahead.
Mr. Holcomb, do you know what the PAL stands for?
Yeah, Police Athletic League and Police Academic League.
So, my concern about our district being involved in it, is this program, needs to create the safe environment and structure for law enforcement, as you are aware. And are you aware that our city currently participates in the OLY, which is Oakland Local Youth Football Association? And I can't understand why our Board of Education would be even entertaining the PAL program when we denied Wolverines every few years of being participating in that. So if we participate in a PAL program, let's say football, that counts goes up to age 16. We could be taking from the Wolverines, we could be taking from the junior high and our.
But it deals with more than football. It deals with a lot of other things. It's more than just football.
But if we bring in another football, are we not going to engage in the PAL program for football? It's going to be other things. Is that what we're saying?
Right now, we just got a committee that we're checking in on what they offer. That's what we're doing right now. We're not doing anything except for discussing with Chief Haynes.
And so when the committee meets about that, I just want everybody to keep in mind that's on that committee. I'm not sure who's on it, but I want to keep in mind that we currently have the OFYFA for the city that we participate in, and I don't want to take from our junior high or high school football players into a PAL football association.
Okay, thank you for your concern.
Okay, moving on, board comments. Rebecca Chambliss, you're up.
Okay. First, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who came out or who will watch this meeting. Thank you to all the staff and admins who are working so hard to make traditions continue even after so much change. The high school is planning big things for Spirit Week and homecoming. The elementary has student council returning. Wilkinson had their annual kickball tournament and corn roast. It's just really amazing to see so much happiness still happening in the district. Number two, I am deeply saddened to hear of Val Brack's retirement. Her presence always gave me a sense of security leaving my girls at the building. She will be sorely missed, and I just wanted to know she altered so many lives. She was the face of kindness at Madison High School. Although she's earned this leave, she cannot be replaced, and her absence will be felt through the whole building. Thank you. Oh, but thank you to Miss Marge for helping out and being there. She's been a smiling face every morning. Number three, I'm gonna say congrats to the girls varsity volleyball team at the high school. They've had 2 consecutive wins, and they only had a week and a half to practice before their first game, and 60% of our girls had never touched a volleyball prior to coming onto the team. So they've really pulled it together and been amazing. Thank you to Mr. Johnny Bieber for helping us out and coming to handle the scoreboard during our home games. Thank you to Rick and Heather Mossy for bringing snacks and little trinket goodies and Gatorades and snacks for the girls when they had their away games, so they had something to go. Thank you to Kat for making sure that the girls are fed before every home and away game. As for the bond, I just hope that we do get to have town hall soon. I know a lot of people are asking about them. They were promised, and I just want to make sure that we don't let that fall to the wayside, because a huge portion of our community really wants to kind of have a conversation about it, to understand what the bond will mean, what no tax increase would mean, and all of that. And I think that's about it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Trustee Deeper.
I feel like Rebecca cheated and looked off my notes. I do want to welcome all the Madison new staff that we have. We have some pretty amazing kids in our district that stole my heart, and I'm sure it won't take long for them to steal yours. I want to wish Val a happy retirement. She was so amazing and patient with me when I brought Corey back to the district after his diagnosis. I would call at least 75 times a day. Lee, did you see him? Is he good? Has he been down there? So I really appreciate it. I'm incredibly proud of all of our student athletes. I know balancing schools and sport in a pandemic isn't easy, and that they should be proud of everything that they've accomplished. I also was so excited to hear our cheer program is back. As a mom of 2 competitive cheerleaders, this makes me very happy. I would like to thank Julia and Dan Forrester for donating their refrigerator to our football squad. Mr. Andre for his extra work with gleaners. We were at risk of losing our 2 distributions to 1 per month, and he was able to retain it to have both distributions. We just had 1 this afternoon. We have another one coming up October 19th. As Mr. Abdullah had mentioned, Thursday, October 28th is the trunk or treat at ACC. And Friday, October 29th from 9 to 11 is at ECC, or I'm sorry, at MES. So I'm signed up to do both trunks if anybody wants to come by. The kids are all dressed up super cute. It's, always a fun time seeing them. I also enjoyed seeing the pictures from the cornrows kickball tournament. It brought a huge smile to my face that the tradition was continuing, including certain adults attempting to cheat to win, but we're not going to mention any names, Mr. Lujan. And thank you to our wonderful staff for all that you do. That's it.
Trustee Scott, go ahead.
I'd like to thank all the Madison athletics and the band for all their hard work and their coaches. Thanks to everyone for attending this evening. I'm retired and I'm Val Rec. Throughout the years, Val has been there for so many admins, teachers, staff, parents, and especially the children. Throughout the years, I've watched her pour love into each child as they were her own. My youngest loved her, couldn't wait to stop and dance for her. Not only giving out of herself, she gave to MDPS, a wonderful young man who got a rep and used to sit on the Board of Education, who equally loved MDPS and his children. Thank you, Bill, for all that you've done for so many of us for so many years. You are loved and you will never, ever be forgotten. And enjoy your well-deserved retirement. So speaking about the bond, this is in my opinion only, not of this Board of Education. It is not okay to not have a town hall for the bond. We asked that as one of the superintendent's goals, I've asked several times and still no response on why there haven't been any town halls. Believe it or not, we have several people in this city that do not have the internet or participate in the internet, nor know where to look on the, if they do have it, many do not know where to look for it on the Madison District webpage. So I believe I'll second Rebecca's response. We definitely need town halls to get people's questions answered. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Thompson, go ahead.
I'm going to make this really short because I'm having trouble talking again. I'd like to thank everybody for attending tonight, and I'd like to welcome all the new employees and all my Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Holcomb?
Just thank you all for coming out, watching us on the video, and see you on the 20th. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Yap?
just thank everybody for coming out. Welcome to all the new employees. And that's about it. Short and sweet.
Last but not least to me, first of all, congratulations and welcome to all our new hires. Custodians and cafeteria workers, thank you for your hard work, and we supported your new contract, and that's in anticipation for work yet to be done. Homecoming, I didn't get the info from. It's funny, people forget, homecoming is really not for the kids that are attending school. It's for everybody that's graduated, which is why it's called homecoming. So alumni is really what homecoming is about. So we do need to get better about advertising that, because I know my kids were surprised when they were in high school to hear it really was about welcoming of the alumni, not about the kids that are attending now. Anyway, just a bit of trivia. Wondering if you could give us just a little bit of information on anything you might have found on driver's ed. Can be on a Sunday update, very simple. And the only other thing that I have, I'm glad we have cleaners, and I have shared with Mr. Abdullah. I was at the football game, we have pallets, we have the trailer in the middle of the parking lot. It was a problem for football parking. So I have passed that on. I'm sure that they will address it. I just wanted to let everybody know, if there's a question, it was me that had asked. With that, I want to say we need to adjourn. I need a motion and support.
I will make that motion. This is Crystal.
Okay, Trustee Bieber. And Trustee Ott. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Gloria Thompson,
Yes.
Beth Scott,
Yes.
Deborah Ott,
Yes.
Cindy Holder,
Yes.
Mark Holcomb,
Yes.
Rebecca Chambliss,
Yes.
Crystal Weaver.
Yes.
Motion passes to adjourn the meeting at 9:13.